This is what a second-person video game would look like. Isn't that just going to be like a text adventure? This?
In a first-person game, you see the game world through the actual eyes of the player character as though you were that character, and in a third-person game, you see the player character from the outside, often from behind their back or from a fixed isometric perspective. But the existence of these two perspectives begs a question. If this is what a first-person game looks like, and this is what a third-person video game looks like, what exactly would second-person look like? Now, I'm not the first person to wonder about this. The question of whether or not a second-person shooter could actually exist is one that has plagued video game message boards just about as long as the internet has existed. It's also served as the premise for some pretty good comedy sketches over the years, like this one from Mega 64.
Introducing the world's first second-person shooter!
And this one from The Onion.
To enter second-person shooter mode, you just simply adjust the narrative slider from first to second.
You are walking down a long corridor. Suddenly, a Nazi leaps out from around a doorway and unleashes a hail of machine gun fire in your direction.
To help us actually figure out what a second-person game would really be, I think it would be helpful to look at this grammatically. In written language, the term first person denotes any writing where the point of view uses phrases like I or my to tell a story from the perspective of the protagonist. Third person writing, on the other hand, uses third person pronouns, for example, he went this way, she went that way, etc., to talk about characters from an outside perspective. Now, second person writing does exist, but it's kind of a weird one. In second person, the primary pronoun used is you. You do this, you go there, etc. The second person is actually a lot less common in narrative writing. It's actually something you're more likely to encounter in, say, a list of instructions or a choose-your-own-adventure book. Now, the analogous video game camera perspectives for first and third person writing are obvious, but what about for second person?
This would just be like
we know what an
NPC
like,
in a fun
game looks like, but what about a U game? Strangely enough, I actually found the answer to this before I even came up with a question, and believe it or not, it came to me courtesy of a game you may have heard me talk about once before, and that game is Driver San Francisco.
True.
See, for all the interesting missions in Driver San Francisco, and there are plenty of them, there's one mission in particular that I swear to God I think about all the time. The mission in question is called The Target, and it's the final mission of Chapter 6 of the game. In the game, you play as a cop named John Tanner, who, for reasons I won't get into here, basically has a superpower that allows you to take over the bodies of any other driver and has begun using that superpower to foil a possible terror plot from a gangster named Jericho. Over the course of the game, Tanner decides that the best way to unravel Jericho's plans is to do it from the inside, and in order to do that, Tanner takes over the body of a low-level henchman named Ordell and uses his driving skills to help move Ordell up the ranks. Now, the mission begins as normal with Tanner and his partner Jones driving their iconic orange Dodge
Fast and
Challenger,
Furious
and
Crossroads.
soon enough, you warp into Ordell's body with Layla in the passenger seat, where she gives you some clarity on your mission. So you drive to the destination she's given you, closing in on your target, and as you get close, this happens.
Slow down. We should acquire the target anytime now.
This looks good. Hi, Dawson, and thanks for the bits,
The
Wonder.
yellow Dodge, up ahead. Stay close, but don't be obvious.
That's my car.
What? That's the cop that's been getting in our way.
Do we follow him to the target?
Kill him.
The target.
Oh.
It's you. You've been assigned to kill you.
Wait, that's fucking
After
genius.
that cutscene ends, you are back in Ordell's body in the first person with Layla sitting to your right. But then, you press the throttle to accelerate, and the car in front of you moves. You steer to the left and to the right, and the car in front of you moves to the left and then to the right. And
that's super
quickly,
clever.
It sinks in that the car you're controlling is actually the car you're following. Your perspective as the player is entirely separate from what you're controlling.
This would suck for a whole game, but a
words,
mission?
You're
That's pretty cool.
pursuing you. Now, as you can see, the car that you're sitting in is moving too, but crucially, you're not the one who's controlling that car. The car you're sitting in is moving automatically, seemingly operated by an AI.
What game was
driver
this? Driver San Francisco?
The car you're actually controlling. It's basically like a chase mission in any other video game, just like you've seen countless other times, except for this time, it's flipped on its head. This time, you're the one being followed, while simultaneously seeing it all unfold from the perspective of the car doing the following. And while it's hard for me to guess how well this comes across on video, all these elements combine to make something that is very, very odd to play. There's something shocking and disorienting about seeing a first-person perspective on your screen, but also not controlling that perspective while remotely operating the
That
car.
is such
that
a
you're
cool
tailing. It's the
idea.
closest the video game has ever gotten
Damn it, I
to
forgot to
feeling like
click
a
the tree
true
again.
out-of-body experience, and it's an experience
Wasted
that has
XP.
stuck with me ever since I first played this game back in 2011. Now, when I first played Driver San Francisco 8 years ago, I kind of just played through this mission once, start to finish, marveling at the unique perspective that this mission granted you, but then moving on to the rest of the game. But I've always felt like if I ever came back to this game, I'd want to pick this mission apart and see what makes it tick, and that's part of what I hope to accomplish with this video. See, as cool as this mission is, it's also pretty linear. The whole thing takes place with you driving down this completely
Thanks, Rishabh.
locked
Up too
down
late?
race course with no exits or detours, pretty much just a straight shot to the exit. I've always assumed that the developer Reflections designed the mission this way due to the technological limitations of this weird second-person camera that they built just for this mission. Perhaps there was no way for them to get this camera to behave properly in the actual open world with all the various streets, elevations, and alleyways you could
Shit
dip into,
driving,
not
kid.
to mention the other street traffic.
You're not
And
welcomed in the
on top of
Toretto
that,
family.
They built this mission with a pretty strict countdown timer, forcing you to hit the checkpoints in rapid succession.
There's the 5 gifts
Something
of
that I
beef
always assumed was
ravioli and the
placed there to
Rishabh
keep you from
monkey.
ever veering too far off the path and breaking the game somehow. So before finishing the mission, I paused, started it over, and then this time, instead of starting the race as intended, I swung the car into a 180, driving the car backwards in the wrong direction. Now, when I do this, the AI driver immediately begins panicking, rapidly spinning the steering wheel, trying desperately to keep my car visible in frame, and then eventually it turns around 180 degrees to reveal what looks like the entire open world of Driver San Francisco, seemingly 100% accessible to
Oh
the
god, wait.
Now, I drove away from the racetrack and began exploring.
The AI is killing
I
everyone.
forced myself to hit some kind of invisible wall or failure state for going off course, but it never happened. It all actually worked. It turns out that Reflections had generously designed this mission, intentionally or unintentionally, so that the mission countdown timer doesn't actually begin until you reach the first checkpoint, meaning that if you never hit that first checkpoint, you can drive around forever. This led to what I can only describe as a transcendent video game experience. It felt
Well,
like I was
that's a bit
seeing
pretentious.
something that I was never meant to see. This ability to explore the city, as
The
much as I
universe
wanted to, all
slowly
from this
melted around
wholly
me.
unique, extremely surreal second-person viewpoint. It felt like a magical experience and one that almost nobody else has experienced for themselves.
True, this is
Now,
entirely
revisiting
unique.
this mission and managing to escape the confines laid down by the developers all those years ago, I really wanted to try and push this thing to its limits. I couldn't resist trying to break things a little. I drove the car off ramps, into oncoming traffic, all of it, but surprisingly, it held together perfectly. That is, until I tried one specific thing. See, I haven't talked about it before, but this mission actually does have a failure condition. In the lower right corner of the screen, there's a health meter, and it represents the health of Tanner's car, the car you're chasing/driving.
That's exactly
But if
the
you get
kind
into
of
one
shit
too
you
many
say.
collisions while
Yeah,
driving this car in
ironically,
the second person,
not
you can
seriously.
actually run out of health, causing Tanner to die and the mission to end in a loss. And then decided to try out the one thing I hadn't attempted yet. I turned around and drove the car in the second person directly at myself. I kept driving towards myself, putting on the pressure closer and closer, and then
Whoa!
Nice work.
it broke. All at once, the second
Wow.
person vehicle shoots into a wall, clips through it, and
Sent
then
them
launches
straight to
hundreds
hell.
of feet into the air. Briefly, one frame at a time, we can get glimpses of the chaos that unfolded. We see the car inside the wall, then we see the car's front console flipped over, we see what appears to be the ocean floor, and then the pavement as seen from underneath. We see rooftops, the driver's arm, the sky, trees, abstract geometry, and then the city from above, flooded with unloaded geometry. After that, we see the car spinning and spinning in midair, giving us glimpses of San Francisco from above, before finally getting so high
San Francisco's
that
never looked
nothing can
better.
be seen but endless ocean. Suddenly, all at once, the car snaps back to Earth. The health meter for Tanner's vehicle turns blindingly white, and then the second-person viewpoint fills with an orange-yellow hue, Tanner's car. Quickly, it becomes clear that the second-person car has somehow spawned inside of Tanner's vehicle, dealing infinite damage to the car. A deafening crash sound can be heard, and shattered glass flies everywhere, and then, for a brief moment, right before the mission ends,
And then he
the
gets
camera
arrested.
inexplicably shifts into Tanner's car.
The guy playing the
where
game
car is
gets
balanced on
arrested
its
for this.
nose, its windshield shattered, thrust impossibly through another vehicle. Shaken by my otherworldly encounter seemingly brought on by pushing this already existential
Shaken?
mission to its limits, I reset the mission and played beginning to end one last time, this time careful to do it the right way, not wanting to disturb whatever eldritch being I'd upset by breaking the mission in the first place. After all, I thought, I know that every mission in Driver San Francisco ends with a continue and retry option, so if I really wanted to explore this mission again, I could always hit the retry button to give it another shot after running through it normally. So, I proceed to complete the mission as intended, a mission, by the way, that ends with the antagonist Jericho actually taking over your body and attempting to drive you into a lethal car accident.
You mean Jericho?
Sit back and enjoy the
Fuck!
show. Not many people get to watch themselves die.
A problem that Tanner decides to solve by, disturbingly enough, shifting for the first and only time in the game into his partner Jones's body. Yes, that partner.
What the hell's going on?
Anyways, I go to finish
What
the
a
mission
fucking
the normal way,
game.
staying on the path, fully expecting the restart option that appears after most missions to show up. Instead, I get to the end of the mission, and for some reason that I still can't explain, the only option was continue. The reset option had vanished. Panicked, I quickly hit Alt F4 and exited the game, hoping I could load up my save file and play through the mission again, but it was too late. It had already autosaved.
Oh,
and the mission
no!
was gone with no way to replay it again.
And that mission has been banned from the game forever.
Look, Driver San Francisco is a game full of weird, interesting, strikingly designed missions, but to me, the target has always stood out as the perfect example of what makes this game special. In designing this mission, Reflections took decades of 3D video game conventions and turned them on their head.
It doesn't
to create
really
what feels
seem
like a truly
unexplainable,
out-of-body
though, like,
experience.
You
That,
just
to
play
me,
from the
is an
perspective of someone
accomplishment worth
else
celebrating.
looking at you.
Please play Driver San Francisco.
If you're here,
This honestly felt like more of a review of the
no one.
game.
Oh God.
Play it? Yeah, maybe I'll
Alright, so a
play
couple
it.
quick updates on the Driver San Francisco situation. The petition to get Ubisoft to relist the game that I mentioned at the end of my last video.
Hunted
is
by the
now at
government
over
now.
70,000 signatures, which is insane. Please, if you have any interest in this game, please sign this petition. It now feels like 100,000 is within our grasp, which is crazy, and I can't believe I'm saying, but it could happen, which to me feels like an unignorable
Did it
number.
happen?
But in the meantime, as you might have noticed, Ubisoft has not relisted the game. They have been ignoring the 70,000 signatures we have.
This is 2 years old. Is it relisted? Is Driver San Francisco back? No. Nah. Nope. Man, fuck Ubisoft. Ubisoft does nothing but make shit open world games. Give me Driver San Francisco. That looked kind of cool. That's not true. They also abuse their employees. Oh yeah, good point. Good point. Thanks, resub Juby. Ubisoft is known for two things: workplace abuse and shitty open world games. Oh, they're doing shorts now? Homeless took a child. What? What does that title even mean? Oh no, it's Small Son again. I guess he wasn't a very good father. Get away from him! Can't you see he's homeless? Thanks for the free ball. Oh, this is not the same kid. Oh my god! Bread and lettuce! And $10? Wow. Oh, a lot happened there in such a short period of time. Wow. Alright, this better be a crazy mansion. I'm not trying to go down another mansion rabbit hole, but that does sound interesting. Okay.
As you guys can see, property gets amazing views, has beautiful finishes, and we have a pool on the third floor, which is even more amazing. Now, specs on the unit. We got 5 bedrooms, 7 full baths, 2 half baths, 9,000.
Wow, look at that.
Of interior space with an asking price of $25,500,000.
I will never understand living in a penthouse. That is like the most inconvenient spot to be. You have to take like a 10-minute elevator ride to get there. I guess they probably have private elevators if I had to guess, but even still, it's so inconvenient.
Before we continue with the tour, I want to thank
The view,
for sponsoring
I guess.
this week's video. It's just like a endless view to look at. We're here in Sunny Isles.
I just don't think that's a cool view.
And we're on 43rd
Like, it's
floor,
just,
so
I'm looking at water,
bit
like,
elevated.
woo!
Pretty high up here.
absolutely.
I don't know, I don't think that's
Living
cool.
area, Nice seating setup, obviously a very spacious.
I'd rather have like one of those crazy views we saw at what was it? Colorado, where it was like all those like fucking hills and shit. That was cool. This is just still water.
All open, again, all focused towards these amazing views. And we have the sliding glass door here, by the way, opening up to the wraparound patio.
You know the weather changes, right?
Again, all sliding glass.
What do you mean you know the weather changes, right? So what? It gets a little wavy one day and versus still? It doesn't matter. I'm just looking at water. And then over here I just look out at shitty Miami shit. I hate Miami, so maybe that's definitely playing a role, but looking out this way, it's just water. Compared to like Colorado where the views were kind of like nutty, this is just boring. Now I will say, like if we had like a day after tomorrow situation and you could see like a crazy wave crashing in and just taking out Miami and I'm safe up here, I'd be like, wow. That was kind of fucking awesome. Like that almost paid for itself. Like you get to experience like a wild tsunami, but you're okay. It's like, damn, shit.
Wine cellar assembly that kind of separates each room from each other, but even the details here with the leather wrapped handles.
Very cool, very cool. I do love my wine.
In fuel elevation.
Yummy, yummy.
Up here. Take a look at this onyx. I've never seen an onyx with this kind of a vein cut and detailing before, and it actually has a little bit of texture as well. More importantly, Mikey, I gotta show this view.
Yeah, let me see that view.
Show the view. You can actually see Miami skyline.
Ew. Oh my god, ew, it's Miami. Oh, fucking yucky.
Right in front of us.
Pretty far, kind of hard to see from my camera.
And look, I mean, people are enjoying their boats, just at the beach, having a good time.
God, Miami's
so
terrible.
Out here, and let's actually walk outside.
I mean, this is cool. You just throw yourself off the balcony, get yourself out of Miami in a hurry.
Because it's pretty windy right now. One of the units on this building on a lower level, and we saw the same brushed nickel finishes, and they have the same finishes over here.
That's a cool sink, I guess.
You might remember it even better if Ennis were to turn it on.
Why does this man give him so much attitude? What happens if there's an earthquake? You throw money off the balcony and trying to bribe the earthquake to stop? I don't know.
As we continue.
This isn't nearly as goofy as I thought it would be.
It's all about that lifestyle, and this 3-story penthouse certainly delivers that.
What is that, a 20-inch TV for a $25 million mansion? Are you kidding me?
I would think up.
Oh yeah.
What?
Now, we covered this section. We got to show this.
You got me fucked up with that. Are you? Oh my god. I paid $25 million for this mansion and they give me, what, a Game Boy? Pushed against the wall there? Are you kidding me?
We have...
My friends are going to laugh at me.
Here. I say office, but could easily qualify...
The fucking common rooms in college had a bigger TV. Would you live there if given the opportunity for free? Nope. I would never live in Miami.
That we see throughout. Alright, lights are off. Let me turn this on.
If they gave me this for free, I would immediately sell it for half price and just cash in on like $12 million.
Like this? I don't know.
You fold some towels, you get to look at the ocean.
Exactly, but in this unit, you have a view like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys expect this by now. The whole place is wired with Crestron system. You can literally control anything you want, whether you're away or...
Can I control where it's located? Could I move it out of Miami? Because if so, I might consider it.
And you know, what's so impressive about this unit is like, no matter where you are, you're one step away from just stepping onto your balcony and realizing you're this high.
That you wasted money.
We're in a pantry hallway in a kitchen.
Yeah.
And we're looking at this incredible, what do you think, Mike? Like 10
Just a lot of regret, really, yeah.
It really goes just about as far as the eye can see. It's pretty wild.
Thanks to the prime cannoli and resubs Idolorix.
River. Ready? Air fryer.
Woo!
Really?
Yes.
We've never seen that in the house.
Why do I hate Miami? I made a whole video on why I hate Miami, but I'll sum it up for you real quick. The entire city is designed to be as awful as possible. So, most recent example, I went to that fucking Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight in Miami, and it took us 2.5 hours just to leave the stadium to go 2 miles back to our hotel, because the city is designed in such a dog shit way. So the stadium is like right on a major highway and there's no place to stop. So it literally funnels you onto this highway where no one can stop. So when you're trying to do like an Uber or a Lyft or something, they have to pull into a nearby parking lot and everyone's doing that and there's not enough spots for them to do that. So they end up just canceling the rides because they don't want to sit there and wait and make loops around. So it took 2.5 hours and we had to walk about a mile up the road just to get a single Uber to stop for us because it's such a terribly designed city. But not only that, it is just an actual hellhole. Everything is absurdly expensive. I went there for spring break in college. A single beer from one of their clubs was $18, and it wasn't even like a tall boy. It was a Bud Light. It was $18 from, I think it was called like Franklin's Nuts or something. I don't know. It was like Franklin's something or other. It was an $18 beer, and a shot of Fireball was $20. So it is not financially reasonable for anybody. A single ticket to one of the clubs, like one of their, I don't know, like raves or normal clubs, I think it was called Silver, it was $300 for general admission. It was absolutely unbearably expensive. I've never seen prices like that. Not even New York was that bad, or LA. But Miami was just on this whole different dimension. And everything is so overcrowded. So going from the hotel to a beach, which wasn't even a full mile, was like a 45-minute cab drive that we should have just walked. Because it would have been faster, saved us time and money. And it's just constant gridlock and the sound of honking cars. I don't know how anyone lives there. I really don't. It's fucking horrible. I hate Miami. I like Miami. Do you come from an affluent family? Like, I don't know how you afford to live there with those prices, man. Miami has nice people. Is that a joke? Bro, I watched a man get his ass beat outside of a Cuban restaurant. I don't know what he did to deserve that, but dude just got fucked up. Like, in the middle of everyone. No one did shit. I got so drunk at our hotel room because I couldn't afford to drink anyone else. I left the hotel room and I puked in the middle of the street and nobody did anything. They accepted me puking on their street as like a normal thing. Like, Miami is terrible. I literally walked into a Walgreens, asked for a bathroom. They said, you're not welcome to use the bathroom here. And I walked outside and I puked on their street. Miami's terrible. Expensive. It's crowded.
Talking about this air frying stuff.
Trash. Trash. I don't think there's enough marble here to warrant the price tag. It's very basic. I expected it to be like really wild for this price, but it's just not. It's not goofy. It's not unique. It's just big and in Miami. Okay, wait a minute. This is kind of cool. It's a marble catacombs.
Texture to this primary bedroom.
That's a lot of marble.
Views on the other side, just as impressive. You can see sunny isles,
the resubs,
all these beautiful
Mahomey
homes, coastline, and following behind the bed setup, this is where this primary bedroom.
Now we're cooking.
We have the vet bar.
Lot of marble.
Assembly, and the entire primary
bedroom
is clad with marble. Every single surface. This built-in tub is surrounded with gorgeous marble. I love all the details and intricacies and just the.
Looks like a really uncomfortable bathtub though.
And they have this overflow
marble looking
design.
nice.
You can actually run this tub and overflow it because right around it we have this big reveal where there are actually two drains. So you can actually overflow it, enjoy your hot tub without worrying about splashing or getting your floors wet. Now,
I mean, I'm sure I could splash on my floors if I wanted to. It won't stop me. Yeah, not bad. Some cool marble. But overall, not that goofy or wacky. Nope, still haven't been able to get the Rolex appraised. We have to go to like some kind of fucking crazy laboratory because no Rolex places will actually look at it. They're not allowed to. It has to go to one of their approved labs. Can't you just take it to a pawn shop? Yeah, I'm gonna trust a random pawn shop to tell me if the Rolex is real or not. This shit is super fake. I'll give you $5 for it, which is 10 times what it's worth. I do think the Rolex is fake, but I want to take it to a real professional. Robinhood got hacked? Bro, if you're still using Robinhood, you're like asking for a disaster. That fucking platform is so unbelievably shady. I don't think they got hacked. They probably just reported a hack and then took the money themselves. Battlefield 4 Illuminati Easter egg is insane. It doesn't sound very cool, but just for you, I'll look it up. This? From 5 years ago? Good lord, what the fuck?
Hey guys, Jack here, and today I'm going to show you probably the most elaborate Easter egg that Battlefield 4 has to offer, and it all starts on the new Legacy Operations map, Dragon Valley. On the map, at the H Temple flag, there is a small phantom skull on the wall here. Very interesting. If you stick around this area for long enough, the lantern above will start
I didn't
flashing.
play enough Battlefield
Yes,
4, I don't
you
even
guessed
recognize
it.
this.
This is Morse code.
Is
The
there some
language
walk?
is Belarusian, and when you translate it, it says, "Did you miss me? Good luck. JJJU." JJJU, of course, being one of the masterminds behind some of the more mysterious and elaborate Easter eggs.
Oh, wait, I remember this channel. Don't developers tell him the Easter egg for him to make a video on it? It's that guy, right? I remember reading about that on Reddit. That might have just been a conspiracy, I guess, but I'm assuming it's this guy. No, he figures them out. Okay, it might have been someone else then, or I'm just completely misremembering. I remember on Reddit a while ago, there was this big thread about how developers of, I don't know, some game doing Easter eggs, I thought it was Battlefield, reached out to like content creators to tell them the Easter egg and pretend like it was something they found to make a video for it. But might not have been this guy, or might have just been a completely different thing.
Easter eggs in the BF4 expansions and new maps. Obviously, this is a hint. There's something to find here. Take a look at this. If you're on an unranked server, some of the lanterns around the temple will be lit when the round starts. It's usually 2 or 3 of them, the rest. And finally, the 7th button, which is definitely the hardest to find, is located inside a tree you have to destroy between the A and B flags. Take a chopper up the hill and jump out, slide down, blow up the tree with some C4, and you'll find the button hidden inside the...
You sure this isn't the guy that gets told the Easter eggs? Because this seems impossible to find on his own.
Each button will change the current state of a...
Especially knowing how many buttons.
Either on or off. But get this, which lanterns the button affects changes each time the map is restarted, as do the original lit lanterns, so every solution to the problem is different. There is no definitive global answer here. But what are we meant to be doing here? Obviously, we've got to light all 20 lanterns and see what happens. So how do we go about doing this then? Well, it's a little bit more complicated than just pressing all of the buttons, and it takes some time, some drawings, and coordination.
Holy
fuck.
Turn
it off and move on to the next button, and so on and so
Alright, I just
forth.
want to see what the payoff is. This looks very
LA
intricate.
employees have had access to until now, and it's actually one of the most
Oh, it's a
standout
camo.
cameras in the game. Pretty cool. Equip your cam. Now, remember those words from
This is the camo you get?
earlier in the process, but you...
Man, that's a really shit camo. It's not even like a camo, it's just white clothes. Like, there's no cool design or anything, it's just, we just gave it some white clothes, I guess. That looks like shit. It's a dev-only camo? No, I get that, and that's cool, but look at Halo 3's dev-only camo. Halo 3's was fucking awesome. Is there even still videos of it left? Like, that one was fucking awesome. That just looked like shit. Says the man who only wears white. Yeah, but I only wear white because it's convenient. Like, I just go to Walmart and get a pack of like 3. That, I had to spend 20 hours looking at codes and doing geometry. And then I get white shirt and pants in Battlefield. You don't show up on thermal scopes with camo? Bro, I don't care if it gives you God mode. It still looks like shit. That wasn't my point that it's useless, it's just that it looks like ass.